Tonight's El Clásico carries a different pulse. This is the match that feels like a hinge between eras where pedigree meets audacity and youth refuse to wait their turn. For decades, these fixtures were defined by seasoned maestros and faintly familiar patterns, but now the story reads like a generational handover. Teenagers who play with the confidence of veterans and coaches daring to gamble on chaos. Barcelona arrives with a squad where the headlines are no longer about seasoned mercenaries, but about kids with pace, invention and tactical fluency. Lamine Yamal is the shorthand, unpredictable, explosive, and intent on making defense look obsolete. Alejandro Balde brings speed and timing that stretch fullbacks into new shapes, and Fermin Lopez has that quiet midfield intelligence that turns pressure into poetry. Opposite them, Real Madrid answers in a language of cold efficiency, heavy on recruitment and structural discipline, a club that has mastered how to mix experience with surgical youth signings to blunt sudden shocks. This clash therefore transcends 11 versus 11. It is a test of models, the romantic faith in academy, born talent versus football as an assembly line of big signings. Tactically, this El Clásico is a laboratory. Will Barcelona gamble on positional overloads, inviting Madrid to counter and then punish them with speed? Or will the visitors attempt to suffocate space early, forcing Barcelona's youngsters into rushed decisions? Either scenario feels plausible because both teams now have the personnel to swing momentum in seconds. Coaches who used to opt for caution are flirting with kamikaze moves, inverted full-backs, aggressive high-line presses, and lightning transitions that intentionally create chaos. That volatility is exactly why this game matters beyond the 3 points. A single wonder goal from a 16 or 18-year-old can become the viral moment that redefines a season. One defensive lapse, and the narrative shifts from a celebration of youth to a sobering lesson in experience. On the individual level, the match becomes a series of private wars. Lamine Yamal versus a senior fullback is more than skill, it's an anxiety test. Can the experienced defender handle novelty and speed? Alejandro Balde's duels determine whether Barcelona can manufacture width without sacrificing defensive stability. Meanwhile, the comparisons to players like Neymar are tempting, but the better frame is watching trajectories. Raw brilliance must be met with steady conditioning and protection. On the Madrid side, rising names like Arda Güler carry their own promise. The club's system is built to corral flashes of genius and shape them into consistent output. So these player-on-player matchups are previews of future transfer decisions, sponsorship bets, and who will headline next season's marketing campaigns. Beyond the scoreboard, there is a larger cultural moment. The Ballon d'Or conversation is shifting. Where once the trophy felt like a refuge for established names, pundits are now daring to ask how soon a true prodigy can break the old order. That's a seismic change in the sport's incentives. Clubs will increasingly value early potential, markets will inflate for teenagers, and tactical approaches will tilt to accelerate star-making. This has second-order effects. Managers may be hired or fired on shorter timelines, academies will feel new pressure, and rival teams will scramble to either replicate or blunt the youth-led model. And yet, for all the optimism, there are historical cautions. Football has seen golden teenagers flame out because the environment around them wasn't steady enough. Valencia's glorious eras, Deportivo's sudden peaks, Sevilla's European magic, these were sometimes short arcs rather than sustainable dynasties. The same could happen here if clubs mismanage expectations. So the stakes in this match aren't just victory or defeat, they're stewardship. How clubs, coaches and the media respond to a Yamal masterclass or a Balde breakdown will decide whether remembered as both a win and a lesson. The clean sheet and the individual flashes, Ede's trademark drive, Luis Skelly's courage, Saliba's assurance, give supporters reasons to smile, but the shaky patches and the clear dependence on late veteran intervention are a warning sign to Arteta and his staff. If Arsenal want to compete on multiple fronts, they need rotation to be a strength, not a liability. That will take careful minute management, tactical tweaks, and more senior players guiding young blood through those tense phases. For now, the cup win is earned, the headlines belong to Ez and Luis Skelly, and the conversation moves on to whether tonight was the start of a bold rotation revolution, or simply a narrow escape